Welcome everyone back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing a beer from the Pizza Port Brewing Company, and they are out of Carlsbad, California, and this is their Swami's IPA. So this is a West Coast IPA that comes in at 6.8% alcohol by volume, 72 IBUs at the time of review. And this can is approximately 6.5 weeks old. And I'm going to give a huge thanks and shout out once again to a very good friend of mine and viewer of the channel, Sierra Hotel, for this beer. So big thanks to him. In the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail boxing video I did that contains all the goodies he sent my way, and he sent me 6 beers in total. And all 6 are hop-forward West Coast beers. And if you watched said unboxing video, I kind of was speechless when I opened this one up. And there's a lot of cool hyped beers in that box of beer, a couple of which I've already reviewed. However, I was kind of blown away by this one because I didn't expect it. This is a classic West Coast IPA, and I've never had it before. I thought maybe I had it at a bottle share, but I haven't. And I've seen so many people enjoy this one, just an old school West Coast IPA, and I finally get a chance to try it. They do have a little spiel here on the side. It says, "We have been brewing Swami's IPA since 1992 to commemorate one of our favorite local surf breaks nestled below a spiritual enlightenment temple that sits on the cliffs above. Swami's features a timeless American hop profile of citrus and pine with a crisp, balanced finish. It's a dream come true to be able to share so many for so long over time as we evolve together. Whatever your form of meditation is, we hope that each and every sip contributes to your own self-realization." Now, the one thing I do want to mention, anybody in California close to the brewery, they does say, brewed and canned by Pizza Port Brewing Company, Carlsbad, California. I said they're out of Carlsbad, California. I believe they're headquartered in Solana Beach, which is the original brew pub location. They have like 6, 7, 8 different brew pubs. So I don't know if they're headquartered still in Solana Beach, but they brew in Carlsbad. I just said out of Carlsbad because that's what it said on the can. Just thought I'd mention this one. Also, this features old school hop profiles. I want to say that it's Chinook, CTZ, Cascade, Centennial, Citra, because there was 5 old school C hops, and then Simcoe. So pretty much old school hops, although I would imagine this has kind of changed over the years because in 1992, I'm pretty sure Citra and Simcoe weren't really a thing. But anyway, I'm looking forward to this one. Again, probably the most excited I've been for a beer, a West Coast beer of like the old school, variety in a while. So do something like that. Be able to get my schnoz in there. And yeah. And I love that they're in a big stovepipe cans. When we get to the end where we do price point availability, we'll talk a little bit more about that, but pretty cool. So this is actually a bit hazy, which I wasn't anticipating. I thought it'd be crystal clear like so many West Coast IPAs are. See if you guys can see. Yeah, you see the, let me get my face out of the way there so you can see the beer, but it definitely has, it doesn't look like that. It looks, I mean, it honestly looks the same I'm seeing in person, same seeing a color, but I just want to show you the carbonation. But yeah, good carbonation, about a finger, just over a finger of a bright white, really creamy looking head, but this has a nice haze to it. It's not crystal clear. I'll hold it back up here, but you really can't see, you can see the shadow of my hand, maybe make it out a little bit, but it's not crystal clear. I thought it was going to be crystal clear. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but yeah, has like a nice golden yellow color, a little bit of orange tinge in there, but looks beautiful. Let's get a nose. Yeah, that's old school through and through. So I've been really digging West Coast beers lately, whether it's old school West Coast or new school. Shout out to Joe over at Jow's Arcade. Great dude, good friend of mine, fellow beer tuber. And when he posted a comment about like what he wanted to see, he was like really looking forward to my take on this, but also, all the rest of the beers that Sierra Hotel sent. But I know he really likes this one. And as I'm reviewing this one, I saw that he posted a Blind Pig from Russian River versus this Blind Beer Battle. I haven't watched it yet, but I need to. Yeah, he definitely enjoys this one a lot. So it just has that old school, it's white bread. There's a little bit of like, this one doesn't have orange as much as like I don't want to say ruby. It's like a white grapefruit with a little bit of like a lemon zest, lemon peel. It's more grapefruit and lemon than it is orange for me. A nice blast of pine, a little bit resinous, floral for sure. White bread with a touch of like caramel, so that old school like kind of malt bill. It smells lovely. It smells super balanced, but I know like when I taste it, it's going to have more dry and like a bittering kind of feeling. But like in the nose, It's just old school West Coast IPA. And there's nothing wrong with that. Let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again to Sierra Hotel. Wow. It is, I don't say this a lot about any kind of IPA, but this is super zesty, like a zesty citrus peel. Oh, and it is dry and bitter. Oh, this is tasty. I was worried because this is 6.5 weeks old, and Sierra Hotel, usually on top of it with the the freshness and everything. He sent me that triple cuff that I reviewed recently that he was like, you got to get to it. And it's like, dude, it's 2 weeks old. Settle down. I love you, Sierra Hotel. But he didn't say much about this, but this, just a classic, whatnot. But I was kind of worried. I was like, oh, is this going to fall off? I reviewed that El Segundo power plant, and it definitely fell off. Triple IPA, 6 weeks old. If this fell off, I can't tell. It is so vibrant in the taste. It's crazy. Body's like higher side of medium, low full. Yeah, no, I'm not bullshitting. 6.8%. I'd say higher side of medium. Let's not get crazy and go low full, Joe. Rein that in. But bigger than anticipated. Beautiful body. The mouthfeel, it's crisp. It's relatively clean. It has like a little bit over a moderate carbonation. So when I was showing you the carbonation bubbles, it's not wrong. Definitely has a good carbonation, but that makes it super crisp on the palate. It's smooth on the back of the palate going down, but not as smooth as others. It definitely has just an effervescent feel across the palate. So if you like very crisp beers, this would be your jam. And look at the fucking glass lacing after a couple sips. Absolutely spectacular. This is not a beer where I have to go crazy in terms of, naming all the different fruits I'm getting. I've had comments before, people like, oh, dude's getting everything, including the kitchen sink when he's naming off fruits. A lot of times I name so many fruits because I get nuances of different fruits, and like I'll say, oh, I get a little bit of like a pop of like an underripened pineapple or whatever. That's what I truly get. But with this is not super complex, but what's here is delicious. It's really front to back, white bread, a very small touch of a caramel, but it's more white bread than anything from the malt character. And that's with me the entire, it's like omnipresent, and I say it dives underneath the palate, but it's with me the entire way. Hits at the forefront, hits again on the back. But after that, it's just this bittering, zesty lemon peel, grapefruit peel, and orange peel. In that order. Lemon, grapefruit, orange. That's what I get. And it's zippy, it's zesty, it's pithy, it's bittering, and it's not the juicy part of those fruits. It's more of like approaching the pith and even the peel. And then on the finish, it has a beautiful floral, piney, slightly resinous character, but it's more like floral pine than anything. Maybe even a little bit of a dankness. Yeah, a little bit dank. I know so many people here in the Western New York area that would love this beer. And the fact that you probably can buy this in like gas stations and shit. I don't know. If you come in a stovepipe can, I feel like you're in grocery stores, you're in gas stations. That's what the stovepipe can represents to me, because usually I see them in grocery stores and gas stations. It's very rare I see a stovepipe can like an actual like craft beer store or bar. But this is not the definition of a grocery or like I was going to say something. I'm so overwhelmed with the deliciousness that is this beer. But I was going to say, in a grocery store, if you're going to go get gas and you're going to stop and you go in real quick and all of a sudden you see this in the cooler, like, to me, that is amazing. That is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. It's a simplistic beer, but for the style, it's fucking fantastic. That's the best way I can sum this one up. Finishes incredibly dry, firmly dry. This has a moderate bitterness. It's dry, it's bitter. It has a little bit of sweetness at the forefront, but it's really drawn out by the dryness and the bitterness. This is an old school beer through and through. And I just want to announce that I have firmly 100% become a converter from hazies to West Coast. Not that I don't still enjoy hazies, because I do. I'm not going to sit here and bullshit and be like, I'm never drinking any hazies because I hate them. No. But I think my palate has flipped a switch where I want West Coast beers. And if I don't want West Coast beers, give me a hazy that's dry and bitter. And then we're fine. But I need that dryness. I need that bitterness. I need a combination of both or one of them to be substantially impactful to really enjoy a hop forward beer nowadays, because the days of just drinking sweet, juicy, hazies for me are done. I can still appreciate them in small doses. So like give me a, a little, like if I go and get a flight or like a sample of like 4 or 5 ounces, yeah, I'll drink even a sweet IPA or even like a heavily fruited sour pastry stout. But the days of me buying cans to drink them myself, probably over for ones that don't have a dryness or a bitterness. This has the best of both worlds. This is old school through and through. I can see why they've been brewing this for over 30 years. It's a fucking fantastic beer, and it's absolutely delicious. One more sip and then I'll lock in a rating. But waxing poetic about a beer I've never had before. I've heard so many good things about this. Back even when I did not like West Coast IPAs, going back 5, 10, 15 years ago, I just didn't care for them. Too bitter, too dry. My palate has come to a point where I like dryness, I like bitterness, I like this beer. Is it the best West Coast IPA I've ever had? It is not. But the history with it, how delicious this beer is, I'm going to give it a good score. I'm going to give probably a better score than I thought I was going to. So Swami's IPA, and listen, it might sound like I'm going to give it a higher score just because I'm talking a lot about it, but keep in mind, up until about a year ago, old school West Coast IPAs, I was still like few and far between ones that I really enjoyed, but this is awesome. Low 4.5 out of 5, I'm going 4.4. That for me is a monster score for a beer like this. So yeah, all day long, 4.4 out of 5, all fucking day long. This is delicious. If this was local, I'd want it in my fridge, at the very least occasionally, if not all the time, like especially in these stovepipe cans, like yeah, all day long. So yeah, 4.4 out of 5, fucking delicious. Price point availability. So I checked their website because I was curious. This comes in, I'm sure, a bunch of different vessels. The two I saw, 16 fluid ounce cans. You get a 6-pack, not a 4-pack, $15. Yes. 2 stovepipe cans from the brewery, $8. So $4 for this. Yes. 6.8%, almost 20 ounces. I have no issues with that. 4.4 out of 5. This is fucking awesome. So yeah, to me, that's fine. If it was a little bit more expensive, it's still all right. You can't really beat that for a quality beer like this. And availability, I'm sure this is all over California. I don't know if they see any distro outside of California. I've never seen them here in the New York State, let alone or I haven't seen them in West New York, let alone New York State as a whole. So I don't really know. But this is just sitting here talking to you. There's still a beautiful lingering bitterness, dryness, but also that citrus peel, kind of like zestiness. It's just like enveloping the palate, and I'm loving it. And I kind of want to look at the fucking, again, we'll talk about the glass lacing, but look at that glass lacing. You can see how I've been kind of drinking on it. And one more sip. And this is 6.5 weeks old. I can't imagine this like 1 or 2 weeks old, how like impactful and like over the top it would be, but like almost 2 months old, and this is fucking so tasty. Like, I don't know. Anyway, huge thanks to Sierra Hotel. I know it sounds wild, especially to a lot of you in California, that I'd be, waxing poetic and talking, for 13, 14, 15 minutes about a beer like this, but it's a classic. I love paying my respects to classics, even if they're not my favorite. This is fucking fantastic, though. And I see why it's been around for so long. I see why so many people, like the aforementioned Joe, talk highly about it. And now I finally got a chance to try it. And I'm like, yeah, I wish I could get this one locally. Because there are really no breweries on the East Coast or in New York State here that are putting out like beers like this, with this West Coast style, old school, new school, whatever. It's readily available. You just don't see it. And that is a bummer. And that's the one thing that California has, is a lot of great breweries kicking out a lot of great hop forward beers, and a beer like this that's kind of a shelfie or a shelf turd at this point is still fucking phenomenal. And I'm happy that I finally got the chance to try it, courtesy of Sierra Hotel. So yeah, I don't know. If you've had this one before, please post in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about 6.8%. I can't tell. Maybe a little bit like a slight warming in the chest, whatever. I don't know. I'm shutting this one down. Appreciate it. To the next one. Cheers. And as I also talk, like, that dry and bitter sensation also has that floral piney thing kind of happening in the background. And it's more like almost like a sprucey kind of like minty thing going on too. Oh, ever so slight, not over the top. But I just love that it lingers so long on the palate. When I say it's clean, it's more of like a clean fermentation, no off flavors, whatever. But it doesn't finish clean because that lingering bitterness and like the flavors that are lasting, but I like that quite a bit. Cheers.